Hello again everyone, welcome back to the channel, and to part 4 in my What the Romans Introduced to Britain series. Now this week I thought we'd look at coins, things that we take for granted nowadays, but to the Romans they were more than just money. They were a language of power, of propaganda, of survival. So join me as we take a look at Roman coinage. Coins arrived in Britain well before the Romans, somewhere around the 3rd to 2nd centuries BC, with Gallo-Belgic and Greek-style coins making their way to the southeast of Britain, and by 100 BC the Britannic tribes were starting to mint their own coins. These early coin issues were made often of silver or gold, and they didn't just act as cash in a traditional sense. They were also status symbols or gifts. They were much more than just circulating money. Many of these late Iron Age coins had symbolic motifs and, increasingly, stylised heads of rulers. And some of these rulers went a step further. Rulers like Tasciovanus, Cunobelin and Verica started to have Latin inscriptions and Roman motifs, showing how the Roman world was already influencing Britain well before the conquest. The Roman conquest of Britain brought Britain into a standardised, empire-wide monetary system, with coins minted in places like Rome or Trier or Lugdunum now circulating in Britain alongside local coin issues. The Roman system offered standardised denominations and weights. Bronze for everyday payments, silver denarii for larger payments, and gold aurei for huge payments. And this standardised system made paying taxes easier, paying soldiers easier, and trading across the empire an awful lot easier. Roman coins were also portable propaganda, the emperor's image and legend proclaiming legitimacy and victory and divine favour to anyone who handled the metal. Claudius, for example, used coins as deliberate messaging, having coins minted that celebrated his victory over the Britons, showing how he was the one who brought the Britons to heel and turned Britannia into a Roman province. The power of the images of coins is especially prevalent during times of political crisis, such as the Carausian revolt in the late 3rd century, when Carausius, the commander of the British fleet, created a breakaway state by taking control of Britain and parts of northern Gaul. Now, to give him a sense of authority, he had coins minted that tried to give him some sort of legitimacy. It's worth noting at this point that for most of the Roman occupation of Britain, Britain didn't have a standing imperial mint. Instead, coins would have come from places like Lugdunum or Trier or later on Arles. The exception comes during the Carausian revolt, when Carausius and later on his successor Electus created mints in places like Camulodunum and Londinium. For most people in Roman Britain, coins were practical, but they were a store of value, and for many people they buried their coins if circumstances turned dangerous. The scale of these buried coins is fascinating. The Hoxton hoard, for example, from Suffolk had nearly 15,000 coins in it, and then the Frome hoard from Somerset had nearly 52,000 coins in it. And these coin hoards are great indicators of times of instability and danger. For modern archaeologists, coins are a precision tool. They can help an archaeologist find the earliest possible date for an archaeological layer. Let's say, for example, you have a Roman building, and underneath that Roman building you find a coin with Hadrian's head on it. that might well indicate that that building was built during the reign of Hadrian or sometime afterwards. And if you find a coin hoard that stops with coins of a particular Roman emperor, that might well indicate a time of crisis and danger and insecurity. Beyond dating, coins can reveal the movements of people, troops and trade. If you find a huge cluster of military coins, that can indicate a garrison site, for example. And if you find exotic coins very far away from their original mint, that can indicate trade links. In many ways, coins can tell us so much more than any ancient text ever could. After the Romans left in the early 5th century, Roman coinage seems to have gone into a steep decline, and by 402 AD, bronze coins from the empire seem to have been negligible in their supply at best. But that's not to say that Roman coins weren't still used in Britain. They very much were used in Britain into the late 5th century. By the 7th century, new coinage appears in Anglo-Saxon England, but this coinage, much like the Roman coinage, uses portraiture and inscriptions to lay down authority, very much an inheritance from the Roman world. On a side note, a perfect example of how the Romans have influenced our current money system is the figure of Britannia, who's still on coins today, but she originated on Roman coins in the reign of Hadrian. And there you have it. Although the Romans didn't introduce coins to Britain, what they did introduce was a standardised system, empire-wide, that helped with propaganda, pay and practical exchange. But before I go, I just want to let you know that there's something rather interesting and exciting happening on Monday, so keep an eye on this space. But until then, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, it helps immensely, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.